All right guys, welcome back for another session. Today we're working on weightlifting, so snatch technique. So your warm-up will commence with tuck jumps. So you're going to tuck those knees up as high as you can for 3 reps. Once you've done those 3, you'll move into your mountain climbers. 6 reps, so that's 3 on each side, making sure to maintain the shoulders and the hips at line. So from there, you're going to do 5 rounds of that before you move on to the next section. Next section of your warm-up is a child's pose position. So down on the knees, sitting back onto your heels, arms out in front. You will hold here for a total of 5 seconds. Once you've done your 5 seconds, you transition to a downward dog position, driving your heels down to the ground, pushing your chest through and trying to keep those knees as locked out as possible. So 5-second hold, and you'll commence to go through 5 rounds of this. Once you've done your 5 rounds, you'll move into a 4-minute EMOM, every minute on the minute. First minute, you'll have your high knees, 15 seconds of high knees, moving into 15 seconds of heel kicks, trying to drive those heels up to your bottom, keeping an upright torso, and then transitioning into your star jumps for 15 seconds. Elbows locked out, reaching up overhead, trying to open up the shoulders as much as possible. On your second minute, you will move into your snatch complex. So I'll get you to grab a stick, a broomstick, or if you have access to a barbell, you can do it with a barbell. We have deadlifts in a snatch grip. So make sure you have a hook grip around that bar. So thumb around the bar, fingers on top. This is your deadlift position. You can see how she's squatting down into it, not just hinging at the hip. Okay, from there, you're gonna move into a squat snatch. So back down to that deadlift position, pull into the hips, and then catch it in a full squat, overhead squat. Okay, so we're gonna go through 5 reps of each of these. Once you've done your 5 reps of squat snatches, you'll move into a snatch balance. So stick or bar goes onto your back, feet come in. You're gonna dip in the knees, drive the bar up, and then kick your feet out to the side. So think about sliding the feet to drop under the bar as much as possible. You're not trying to drive the bar up any higher. You're trying to push yourself down under the bar. From there, you'll move into an overhead squat. So keep the stick overhead or the bar, and make sure you maintain your squat stance, squatting down, hinging at the hip first. So sending those hips back and keeping that bar overhead with as much tension as possible through that upper body. Once you've completed that, you'll go through again for those second rounds. So only 2 rounds in this 4-minute EMOM. Okay, now that we've finished your warm-up, we're into the skill component. So we're gonna start with 4 sets of 2 movements. First movement is a tall snatch. So you're gonna start with your snatch grip on the bar, so hands are wide, you've got a hook grip. You're gonna start with your toes, so weight all the way on your toes, trying to drive up as high as you can, switching on the calves. And from here, you're gonna pull yourself down into the bottom of that snatch position. Okay, so the idea here is to try to drop as quickly as possible, sliding your feet out under the bar as you turn that bar over. So you're aiming for 5 reps here, trying to stay as smooth as possible. As soon as you hit the bottom, straight back up into that standing position. Once you finish there, stick or bar goes onto your back, and we have drop snatches. So foot position is gonna be feet narrow, heels underneath your hips. You're gonna slide your feet out and drop down as fast as you can. Okay, so quick extension in the arms. So we want speed overhead, speed with the footwork, trying to really push your body down. So there's no dipping in the knees, there's no extra movement. It's just sliding your feet out and allowing your body to drop underneath the bar. So you'll complete 4 sets of 5 tall snatches directly into 5 drop snatches. Okay, now that we've finished your skill component, we're onto your strength. So 4 sets, we have 3 movements on this one. You're gonna start with a slow muscle snatch. So muscle snatch, we're not gonna be using the legs. You're gonna pull that bar up close to the body and then turn over with power. So from here, driving the elbows out, come back down. So driving the elbows out as you come up. When you get to about chest height, you're trying to turn over. As you're turning, you're still pressing up to the ceiling. What we don't wanna see is a clean position in a snatch grip. So as you turn over, I don't want to see you rest the stick onto your clavicle. Elbows down. This is what a lot of people do in this position, try to do a clean and then they try to press out of it. We're not looking for that. The turnover starts to happen around the chest height, but keeps pressing up. Don't let it touch the clavicle or anywhere near that part of the chest. and again, up, turn. That's your rotation. Once you've done those reps there, you go into a hang position. Your hang position for this strength is going to be in your launch position, just above the knee. So leaning over, bar is just above the knee, knees are out, shoulders back, chin up to the ceiling, and then pulling into the hips and turning over. I want you guys to think about using the movement that you did just before for that muscle snatch to transition yourself down to the bottom. So you're going to pull nice and strong with that overhead, that turnover, and then dropping down under the bar. So 3 reps here. Then you'll go into a snatch balance, stick onto your back, feet go into your jumping stance, which is heels underneath your hips. From there, you're going to dip this time, drive it up, and drop. So you only want to push enough for that stick or that bar to move slightly off the shoulders, and then drive your body down by pressing hard into that weight. Once you've completed that, you can take a rest, approximately 60 to 90 seconds rest. If you're just using a stick and you're feeling pretty fresh, take about 20, 30 seconds rest in between, and you can move into that next set. Now that we've finished your strength component, we're on to your conditioning for the session. So 7-minute AMRAP, as many rounds and reps as possible in 7 minutes. You've got double dumbbell devil's press. So dumbbells, keep them narrow. You're going to do your burpee on top of the dumbbells, pull them in, and then directly overhead. So it's a 1 movement snatch. Make sure you're not doing a clean into a press. You want to generate force through the hips like a kettlebell swing, but I want you to keep the dumbbells closer to the body than you would a kettlebell swing. You're not trying to swing the dumbbells away. So only 3 reps there on the first round. Then you're going to move onto your stick, bar, or broomstick, whatever you have available, and you'll do 10 squat snatches. We're looking for quality on these squat snatches. We're not looking for speed. So you're going to reset at the bottom, have a slight pause, pull into the hips, and get that transition underneath. So try to hit all those positions we were doing in the skill and in the strength component to try to perfect as best as possible your snatches. This is where you get the practice in. So 10 reps of these. Once you complete that, you'll go back to your devil's press. This is going to require you to increase your reps. Now that we're done with the conditioning, we're on to your auxiliary movement. So here we have a SOTS press. So snatch grip on your stick or your bar. You'll have it overhead, and then you'll do an overhead squat to come down. So find your squat stance all the way down, and make sure you're still in an active position here at the bottom of your squat. Then that stick comes down onto your back, and then you're going to press that back up. So there'll be a slight pause on the shoulders and a pause overhead. So what we're looking for is those elbows to be tucked in underneath the bar, and then you're going to press that up and back, trying to maintain a straight line. You can see the legs, he's trying to stay stable through the leg position all the way through the movement. So for your SOTS press, we're looking at 3 sets, aiming for 10 to 12. Once you finish, lock out overhead, and then stand it up.